Well, hello YouTube. It's Ro here, and I promised you a video on the things that you could grow in the dollar store stackable planters, and this is it. This is the one, you guys. For those of you who were waiting on this, the moment has come. Stick around and see what all I got going on. So this is my, I want to say, third year with these stackable planters. As I mentioned, you can get them for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I've gotten pretty adept with knowing what I can get away with and what I can't in my Zone 6B Akron, Ohio garden. A lot of it is herbs. A lot of it is food. You could definitely do flowers as well. The one thing you can't do, maybe you can get away with the radish, but most root crops are not going to work for this. This is not enough space to do that type of thing with. Most of those have tap roots that are just far too long for a container like this. However, while some people think you can't grow things like tomatoes in here or peppers, those you can get away with. The only issue you're going to run into is that those things will not grow to the size that you would expect them to. They will grow small, basically. But you will get fruit off of them nonetheless. And herbs do spectacularly in these, as does leafy greens. I do feed these only fish emulsion once a week, and I don't mulch them. I do use a moisture control soil, and these are also in an area that gets about, let's see, 7 hours of sun on any given day. What's really fun about these, and don't mind, what I have written on there. I've been saying I'm going to wash it off forever, and I haven't yet. But what's really fun about these is, one, they're $1. They have 3 units with 3 compartments per unit. They stack together great. I haven't had a problem with them falling over or anything like that. The first year I did have a problem with keeping the soil wet enough, but year 2 I figured out that moisture control soil works just fine for me where I'm at, and so I don't have that issue anymore. I water deep, although it doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, these are so small. And then I probably, at this point, we're facing, what do you say, maybe 80 to 90 degree days on the regular. And I have to water these, depending on what's in them, maybe every other day. Some not as much, right? So, again, it just depends on what you're growing. I have some Japanese red giant mustards going on here, and they do get giant. You can definitely grow these in here. I have basically 3 levels of those going on right now, and they're doing great. We're about to get into, well, it's already been in the 90s for about 2 weeks now, but I'm just starting to get some bolting, so I'm going to be harvesting these and planting something else in them. But these were transplants, And just like everything else in all of these, I am only giving it fish emulsion once a week. Every Sunday, everything gets watered deeply with rainwater that I harvest, and fish emulsion. And you can see for yourself, these plants are having no issues whatsoever. So in this unit, well, not unit, but in this setup here, I have loads of red giant mustards. I have some parsley going on here. Herbs do really, really well. And I have lemon balm on the top here. That smells so amazing. And it's finally to the point where I want to, clip off the tops so it can get a little bushier. And so I'll be dehydrating these and using them for tea later. This was a thyme plant, and it lived over the winter sitting right outside. But recently, I forget what happened that killed it off, but it finally died, so I need to replant that. But aside from that, everything else in here is glorious, and I mean glorious lemon balm. If you love the smell of lemon or citrus, you have got to try this in these. It is so awesome. It smells amazing. And obviously, I would highly recommend growing the red giant mustards. I got the seeds from Baker Creek. And parsley does just fine. In this next row of planters, I have an aloe plant. And I just recently found out, I thought maybe this was dying, but it turns out it's not. I'm told that when the plant is brown like this is an aloe pup that I had, and I just threw it outside thinking that, aloe should love sunlight, right? I mean, it's like a desert plant, isn't it? Well, it can get too much light, and when it does, sometimes it turns brown. But the leaves feel just fine. So who knew? Learning that. And here I have oregano. Like I said, herbs do fantastic in these containers. I started this in a house. Actually, I started all of this in a house, except for there's some sage and there's some rosemary that I didn't start. I bought those, but everything else I grew in the house and then transplanted or either started from seed in here. So I have this awesome oregano, which is finally taking root. It started over here and it was draping over a small pot that I had. I transplanted it outside and then put everything that was draping onto this soil and was hoping that it would grow roots and kind of, get in there. I don't know if we can see any of the roots, but there are roots on there. And it worked. So I have my oregano spreading. This smells amazing as well. Down here I have some strawberry spinach, and I transplanted that as well as these other strawberry spinach plants. There's one and then the third one. My recommendation is that when you're planting up your Dollar Tree Stackable containers, consider what the watering needs are. In my mind, I wanted it to be all mismatched and everything just be fun and, throw caution to the wind. And as I started planting it up, I started thinking, well, that's not going to work. So this needs more light and this needs more water and yada, yada, yada. So I ended up mostly keeping like things in the same level, in the same 3 pocket tier. and so that I wouldn't run into issues with overwatering things. And I should mention, even though I have these all up here, what I do on a daily basis before I leave for work, I just come out and I rotate them. It takes like 30 seconds. I just rotate them on this bench here so that everything gets even light over the course of the week. Because on the back side here, obviously, there's not a lot of light getting back here. So if you are working with a small space like I am, you're probably going to need to do that. So keep that in mind as well. Anyway, back to this. Strawberry spinach. I am finding that I don't like the taste of strawberry spinach. However, I am keeping the plants because I want to see. Oh, look, we got a buddy. You see him down there? Baby grasshopper. Because I want to see if I can get it to produce berries. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to work in something this small, but that's the experiment. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. And we'll see what happens. We do know that we can get leads from it. So if you are into strawberry spinach, that works just fine in here. These are all transplants started in I winter sowed these outside. And when I transplanted them into here, I didn't even think they would root because they were literally this big, but they had outgrew the takeout container that I used. I have these are 2 marigolds here, also started from seed. Those are started from seed, excuse me. And then I have more parsley here. Here's a rosemary that I bought. And this is called Huntington carpet. And I'm just hoping that it drapes the way that picture shows. Because that would be, oh gosh, and that smells like amazing. That smells like Christmas to me. But I thought that would be cool if it would drape over like that. And would you look at that? It is beginning to drape. So this is going to be beautiful in, say, 2 months or so. And then, like I said already, I did parsley. I did that all the way around. Over here, I bought this. This is tricolor sage, and there's another one on the back side there. I bought those. And I planted it in the same tier with the rosemary because those are not water-loving herbs. And so they kind of have the same needs. So more on what I was saying earlier about consider what you're planting and plant like things together or just do all one plant. Over here I have another aloe pup. And I just started some seeds. I don't know what they are. But I see things coming up. So that's fun. I'm hoping that it's time. I got all kinds of stuff coming up in here. I'm hoping that it's time because I don't have a lot of thyme plants. And I really use a lot of thyme. In the next tier, I have some lavender, which I started from seed. And this one's doing really well. And then, let's see, globe basil. I started globe basil in this container here, and this is a marigold and another marigold. I guess I didn't plant those up yet. I have some herbs going, and so I didn't want to use them all up. Over in this area, I have more of that amazing smelling lemon balm. Seriously, oh, smells so good. So I have lemon balm in that whole second tier there. The top here I have some mint, and this is grapefruit mint. Yeah, grapefruit mint. I have a white sage here. I also threw some seeds in, but I don't know. This plant is like I don't know what's going on. So I threw some seeds in there because that was a transplant, and but we'll see if anything happens. Down here I have chamomile, and looks like I did chamomile in all three spots. I have some more that not so good tasting, in my opinion. Strawberry spinach in this fourth tier, and then in the bottom here I have that's another marigold, and this was a cutting. That's a mini bell tomato, and it is actually putting on fruit, so you can do tomatoes in here, guys. That's a dwarf variety. And last year I grew some orange hat tomatoes, which is another dwarf variety, and they did just fine in this for, oh, I don't know, months and months. It was one of the last things that died on me last year. So yeah, you guys, you can grow a lot of things in here. I'm gonna throw up some pictures of what I did last year. I don't have the pictures from prior years, but I did, gosh, I had all kinds of herbs. I know for sure my dill lost its mind last year to the point that I had to stake it. So definitely dill works great in here, not just oregano. Thyme works. You saw that I had a thyme that overwintered. Parsley, obviously. I would say all of them work. Definitely cilantro works. I don't have it in here right now, but I know cilantro works because I had it last year. Rosemary, it's good. And things that I wouldn't put in here, I would say obviously full-size tomatoes. There's just no way. Nothing like a cucumber. Nothing that is super water loving like a cucumber. I would never do that because again, it's just not enough soil in here. And even with the moisture control, I don't think that would work very well. I wouldn't put. I'm gonna try a Tabasco pepper. So wait around and see how that goes. Trying to think of what seeds I have. I can't think of one herb that I wouldn't try to grow in this. I wouldn't do like a squash or a zucchini, although I wouldn't grow that anyways because I don't like them. But I don't think those would work. They get way too big and they would need a lot more space for their roots. Choys work really good in here, so you could do I've done the yellow heart winter choy. I've done the purple lady choy. I've done tatsoi. That works. I've not done chard, but I'm almost certain that would work just fine. You don't want to do onions or potatoes in this. It's just not enough soil for that. I don't think an eggplant would do well either. Probably not celery. I'm gonna go no on celery. Maybe strawberry. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Maybe though. Maybe. Let's see. I got my chamomile there. Yeah. Carrots. Absolutely not. No. Oh, I know. Nasturtiums work in here. I did nasturtiums. They work. I did coleus in here last year. They work. I know that Tom Thumb peas, so small peas will work in this. Nothing like broccoli won't work. Kale would work. Some kales would work just fine. They're not going to get to the full size, they're not going to make a big old head or anything, but you could definitely have baby leaves and harvest them that way. Cut and come again, that would work just fine in these. Calendula would work in these. It wouldn't get big and it would stay small, but it would still flower. Calendula will work. Oh, you couldn't do a broccoli. Hmm. No corn. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of things you can grow. But those are things that I would not grow, or even waste the seeds on, because I just don't see that those would work. Maybe bush beans. Bush beans might work in here, but definitely not a pole bean. Uh, I mean, you could try it, but the thing about pole beans is like being an indeterminate tomato. They keep growing, and so I would imagine that the root structure would just get to be too much. Speaking of root structures, um, like your mammoth sunflowers wouldn't work, but you could do dwarf sunflowers, or the little baby bush ones. You could do that. Um, Petunias might work. There's a lot you could do in these. I'm going to be adding some more stuff here. I don't have flowers on the menu. I mostly like to grow things that I can eat. But I will definitely post an update for how this is looking in, say, a month or so. And I'll be happy to show you guys at least what's happening this year. And then stick around, because like I said, I will post photos of what my containers looked like last year and what I grew in them. All right, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Happy growing!